Hey everyone, a nerd named Mark here. Long time no see. If you watched my episode 7 review and now you're watching my episode 8 review, I recorded these back to back. Um, I have a lot of medicine in me and I'm feeling oozy right now. Uh, so, dude, after the cliffhanger of the trial by combat announcement reveal from Rita, I was hyped for episode 8. Like, literally, I was taking my notes for episode 7 to do a quick review, and then I was like, I'm not even going to review episode 7. Let me watch 8 because I need to watch this. Also, my little cardboard from the magazine. God, Kuagata. I never showed this off because I actually just got my shipping tracking number because as of it's the 23rd now, but in Japan it's the 24th. So the mini pla, for King-Ohger got released. I got my tracking number. I can't wait for that to come in. I'm gonna do some. I can't wait to build that. I might stream it actually, putting that together. But let's jump into episode 8. So we find out the details of this trial by combat, and we find out the winner can impose whatever they wish on the loser. So we have and also we find out Rita's going to be the judge of it, and the way to win is either your opponent surrenders or they die. And we find out that Rackley's picked the duel as a way to sway those because he said there's still people who are stubborn and may be siding with Gira and thinking he's innocent. So this is a way for him to know he's the true king, that this Shugodan is his. And I'm like, that's awesome. And we find out that this was actually Dabowski's idea. He planted the seed, hey, trial by combat, and even Rackley's retainers were like doubtful of it, and why would he suggest this in the first place? And that really didn't make Rackley's too happy because he's like, are you guys doubting me to win? You think I'm not gonna win? You think I can't beat the brakes off this kid? That's my little brother. I'm gonna beat his ass, okay? Paraphrasing, that's not actually what it said. Uh, One of the cool things is after the last episode with like Gira and Yanma's their dynamic, we see Yanma sitting there cheering for Gira with the citizens. Uh, and him and O interjects, and she's like, "How this is annoying. How long do we have to listen to this?" And she even says she's worried Rackley's, if he wins, he's gonna have not only the King-Ohger, he's gonna have the legend Shoe Gods. And then she even mentions, how Gira and Yanma their bond between the two and how they're becoming bros. And she brings up, like they talked about, the Wrath of the Gods 15 years ago, how Shugodan did nothing to help any of them. So I was like, that is true. I want to learn more about this whole Wrath of the Gods thing that happened 15 years ago. I'm really curious to see maybe what Rita and Dabowski were up to in that time frame, because we got to see, that Himeno's air land like kingdom was under attack when she was a kid. So I'm curious more about this, and I'm like that these little seeds are planted, that basically it wasn't just these bugs and shoe gods just attacking, that this was something that was like controlled and started by humans. So I was like, okay, keep that seed planted. I want to know more of this. But the meat and potatoes of this is the conflict between Gira and Rackley's. And so this whole entire time, the Bugnarok are planning, because they still need Gira to control the Shoe Gods and the Legend Shoe Gods. And they plan on kidnapping him during this duel. And we see this Bugnarok that can like shapeshift and be invisible and this and that. And I was like, okay, this might come into play somehow, and it does. So this whole other time, Gira's being held captive in Rita's kingdom, and they even confront Gira and ask about his kidnapping when he was a kid, because even Rita says something seemed off about it, and even they think Rackley's may have been behind it or had something to do with it. And I was like, and there's why she's so, not she, they, sorry, apologies. The reason why they are so interested in this side of it is because duels usually are agreed upon by both sides, and Rita feels that it wasn't fair because Gira really didn't have a choice, because the orphans were being held captive at by swords. So that wasn't really fair. Like Gira had no choice but to agree upon it. We find out, because I love when things are followed up on and not plot holes, that Himeno actually did get some of Scorpy's poison, and she ran all the tests, and it's 100% matched to the poison that was used to kill her parents. So we know now, not only was someone controlling the Shoe Gods at the time, but that it was Sasorine's poison that was used. And I'm like, all right. And the poison comes into play because Dabowski brings the poison to Rackley's, and you know, he played it off that you never know what tricks Gira might use in the fight, so it's good to have it. And there was this one line Dabowski said that really stuck with me as he's giving poison. He's like, a monster for a monster. And I was like, all right, Dabowski, you're up to something. He's playing both sides, and he's Dabowski's one of the more intriguing. Like, as much as I love Yanma, I simp for him and now, Dabowski's one of the more intriguing ones because Rita, like I said in one of my earlier reviews, will probably have that arc because Rita is so, like, by the book, justice, wants to know the truth, wants to have things fair and just and right. But there will become a time where, like, you have to question your judgment. That will happen down the road, hopefully. But Dabowski's just this wild card right now. And I'm just like, okay. Also, the music's really good in this. Like, when they're bringing out, uh, when Rackley's is walking out and Gira's being brought forward, like, that music while Rackley's was walking out in slow motion, I was like, ooh, this music, so nice. And like I talked about earlier, with the duel, the winner gets to, basically impose whatever they wish they want on the loser. And we find out that Rackley says Gira will be exiled from the family and imprisoned for eternity. And I was like, that makes sense. Exiled from the family, there's no threat to the throne. But then Gira literally says, I'll take his throne. That's it. I'll take his throne. And I'm like, yeah. So, after all the scans and the leaks, we finally saw the Okuagata form for Rackley's, whatever it's called, and I loved it. The two-tone. We had like this cobalt gunmetal with some gray in there and the black. That suit looks so nice. I love that suit so much. And the fighting dynamic between the two was really good. We had Gira just going all out with Rackley's calmly parrying and blocking without any real haste. All right, no pun intended on that. I apologize. That's actually in my notes. No real haste. And I just realized Gira hasty. Yeah, that's an accident. That was not a pun. Like, that was accidental. But yeah, the fighting was so good. And then even the whole entire time, we had Yanma, Himeno, and Dabowski posing in Shugada guard gear and pulling Rita aside. And they actually planned this whole entire thing for Rackley's to use the poison on Gira, but Dabowski was to switch it with like a anesthetic to basically make him pass out, because if they won't chase after Gira if he's dead. So I was like, oh, we're going that route. I was like, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the whole faking the death thing. But Dabowski didn't label them, so he wasn't too sure if he switched them or not. And I thought that was really a funny scene where, like, why didn't you label them? And he's like, no, I'm sure I switched it. And yeah, but that was a nice little scene, but it didn't take away from the meat and potatoes, which was this fight between Gira and Rackley's. It was so good. Like, it was very one-sided, and like the whole entire Gira laughing while he's technically losing. And he even points out, he's like, why aren't you laughing, Rackley's? If this is such an easy fight for you, you should be laughing. Like, that is like, I could feel it in your strikes. You're trembling, And then he questions, he's like, was I really even kidnapped? Or was I banished because you fear me? He's like, you banished me because you feared me even as a kid? I was a threat to you? And I was like, oof. And, dude, like, this is my favorite scene so far out of all 8 episodes. Rackley's hits his finish, right? And he thinks he's won. We see all the fire and the flames. And then Gira stands up, and Gira just starts laughing. And he goes on another Tyrant King rant. And then this guitar kicks in. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. You're giving me one of the best Toku OSTs ever, and we're 8 episodes in. Like, the music is slapping every damn episode, and I'm like, this is what I want. Give me this so much. In the fighting, the camera cuts, I was like, this is the best fight we've seen in this season so far. And I was like, you know, you set the bar really high with this one between Rackley's and Guerra, because I don't know if we're gonna get another fight that's this good unless they have another showdown again. Because I'm like, and the reason why I brought up briefly about the bug that could like transform and, you know, change his form and stuff is because Yanma shows up, starts running towards him, waving, saying, "I'm here to help, my best bud." Like, yay, go Gira. And Rackley's runs over, injects him with the poison, and we see Gira running over and, you know, being concerned with Yanma and this and that. And it turns out that was actually that bug Narok that could shapeshift. And conveniently enough, the camera zooms in and it kind of looks like, you know, Gira's mourning and being helpful to a Bugnarok. Once again, pushing this narrative that Gira's working with a Bugnarok. And it's so in your face that it would make no sense at all to not have Rackley's have anything to do with Bugnarok at some point in the season. And Rackley's actually hits his finish again, and there's some explosions. Gira gets knocked off a cliff, and I started having PTSD Toku flashbacks to freaking Revice because I was like, oh no, we're gonna get another Dear Gaga, aren't we? But we weren't, because I'm just joking. They would never do that to us because uh, Gira falls off the mountain. Rita claims Rackley's is the victor, and then we get, you know, a little time passing. Gira's waking up. Everyone's down there with him. Himeno was able to heal him and this and that. And she even says, like, well, Rackley's missed any vital organs with that attack. And even Gira, like, kind of like he missed. Almost like Rackley's didn't, like, because let's face it, if Rackley's as good as he is, he wouldn't miss. He wanted to kill Gira. So I feel like this was done on purpose. But the Bugnark are attacking Shugodan, and Gira's like, I need to help. But Bowski's like, no, you're considered dead now. So you can't. And we see Rackley's in front of everyone, still in his Sentai form. He goes take out his Ohger Caliber Zero to summon King-Ohger, and just as he's about to, our third Legend Shugot appears, the Bata one, and crashes right into the Bugnarok, and then it's over. End of the episode. And I was like, we're 8 episodes in, and we already got all three legendary Shugods showing up. So I feel like the arc of the legendary Shugods, I don't know how the arcs work, like I said, but I feel like that's coming pretty close to a close. And not by to a close as the fact that like that's old, but like now that we have those three that have now appeared, I feel like we're going to get some more backstory to 15 years ago. We're probably going to get some big conflicts with Lord Death Narok and the rest of the Bug Naroks with everyone, and more backstory to these Legend Shugods now that they've all appeared. So I'm looking forward to that. Plus, we have the arc now where Gear is dead. So I am curious because I don't know how arcs work, but as of right now, the story is really engaging. It's keeping me hooked. I'm loving every second of this show. It is so damn good. And I'm not even theorizing. I don't want to theorize about it. I'm riding the wave. I'm here for the ride. It's awesome. The fighting in this and the music, like I will rewatch this fight. It was that good. I loved it. But that being said, let me know in the comments below what you thought of King-Ohger episode 8. I loved it. This is the Super Sentai season that's making me a Super Sentai fan. Like I said, I bought merch. That doesn't happen for Super Sentai really for me. So let me know in the comments what you think. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, so hit that subscribe button. I'm less than 20 away. It is amazing. I thank every single one of you, and once again, genuinely, thank you to everyone who commented on my videos. You know, wishing me to feel better and supporting. Like, it was a tough week because I feel like I was hitting that momentum and that stride, and then to be this sick as I was, you know, I'm still sick, but you know, I just wanted to put the content out. I tried to do what I could, the best I can, and your guys' support means the world to me. So I thank you all so much. With that being said, that's my review. I'll see you guys in the next video.